Hey everyone, it's the one and only magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little different, something I don't normally do, and we're going to be taking a look at the box office results. So I know this video is a little late, and I do apologize, but I just had the Walking Dead City Season 2 spoiler review to do, my Lilo and Stitch spoiler review, so, and then I've also had some trouble today with my internet, so I don't know, hopefully this video will come out on Tuesday, but I'm not gonna try to make this video too terribly long, so, before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. And before we get started, like always, if you like the video, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and if you aren't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, turn on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. And if you want to share the video, that would be great. And if you do any of those things, that would be very much appreciated. Now, let's go ahead and get into this so we can knock this out and get this done. So I'm not going to be looking at every single movie. I'm only going to be looking at possibly the top 6 movies, really. That's all we're really going to be talking about here. So this past weekend was Memorial Day weekend. So we're going to look at the 3-day and 4-day. So keep that in mind. So obviously we got to start with the number one movie, which is no doubt Lilo and Stitch, right? Over $182 million in the opening weekend. For domestic, 178,600,000 internationally, and worldwide over 361 million. Here's an interesting fact. This opening weekend, no matter what you think of this movie, okay? In this opening weekend alone, Lilo and Stitch has made more with the live action remake than the original did in all of its entirety. But Lilo and Stitch back then in 2002 wasn't as popular as he is today. So you got to keep that in mind. But say what you want to say about the movie. If you think it's terrible, right? I mean, honestly, I didn't think it was that bad of a live action remake. I thought it was pretty good for the most part. It's certainly better than like 90% of the other Disney live action remakes. In fact, if you want to hear, I did have one negative about this remake, but I'm not really going to talk about that here. If you want to hear what my ultimate negative was about the remake, I do have a spoiler review out there on the channel, so if you want to check that out, go ahead and click on that video. But I think looking at this number, I'd be shocked if it doesn't make $1 billion. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I could see, like, despite the problems that I had with this movie, many people aren't gonna care. Most people that have kids are gonna go take their kids to go see this movie, and the audience with the family and kids prevailed in this opening weekend, Memorial Day weekend, which turned out to be the biggest Memorial Day weekend at the box office ever. I think in what'd they say, 15 years or so, something like that. So, despite the one overall negative I had with this movie, I would certainly watch it again over something like Aladdin live action remake. Although it doesn't quite top The Lion King or The Jungle Book. It maybe could have, if they would have done a couple things differently, but would I watch it again? Maybe. But the original is still better without a doubt, but it's not bad. Like there are issues that people have with this movie that I don't necessarily have those same issues. So, anyway, Lilo and Stitch, congratulations. Disney knew what they were doing when they released it Memorial Day weekend. 182 million, not bad. Although, people might say this is a garbage movie to be $1 billion. Well, guess what? How many $1 billion movies are there that's actually good? There's a very small list of $1 billion movies that are actually good. Like, if Captain Marvel or Barbie can make $1 billion, Lilo and Stitch can make $1 billion. Anything can make $1 billion. If Avatar 1 and 2 can make $2 billion apiece, anything can. That's what I've learned. So don't doubt Lilo and Stitch from making $1 billion. I'm telling you. I think it's probably going to end up hitting that before we know it. But anyway, let's go ahead and go to the second place movie, which was Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning, with 79 million for the 4-day weekend, 127 million internationally, and 206 million worldwide. Okay, so here's where I think Paramount fucked up. They didn't mess up by releasing Mission Impossible, because who knows? Maybe Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning is good. I don't know. Like I said, the last Mission Impossible movie I saw was with Henry Cavill, so I'm not exactly caught up. And then plus this movie is like 2 hours and 50 minutes. Kind of long for something like this. Plus, Lilo and Stitch has the advantage of being a pretty short movie compared to this. Lilo and Stitch can get more run times in, where this will have less run times, going forward. So where Paramount messed up is they should have released this movie either before Lilo and Stitch or after Lilo and Stitch, sometime maybe in the beginning of June or something, maybe even early May. I think if it had released before or after Lilo and Stitch, I think it could have made more than 79 million. I do, because people love Tom Cruise. I like Tom Cruise too. I think he's one of the only actors to do most of his stunts, which I think people can have a certain appreciation for. So that's part of why I like Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves, because those are the only, maybe not the only two, but they are one of the only two to do, if not all, but most of their stunts, and people have a special appreciation toward it. If Mission Impossible 8 or whatever this one was, 8 or number 7, whatever one this one is in the franchise, if it hadn't opened up against Lilo and Stitch, it would be the number 1 movie. But because they went up against Disney, well, you see the big difference in the numbers. But like, I heard that Mission Impossible has, I don't know how true this is, but they have a budget apparently of $400 million. That, I mean, if that is true, that's not looking good as far as them trying to make their budget back, because they would have to make over $1 billion worldwide to break even, which is not, that's something that Mission Impossible has never done, ever. Not in a single entry. The franchise would have had to make $1 billion, over $1 billion with all the movies, but not in a single entry. So I don't know. Maybe this is a good movie. I'm not sure, but if they hadn't opened up against Lilo and Stitch, they would have been number one. I really do believe that. Now let's get to the number three movie, which is okay. Yeah, Final Destination. So let's see. 186 million. That's kind of crazy. I don't know. I feel like Scream should be able to make that kind of money, but whatever. But this is nothing about Scream anyway. Let's kind of look because it's been out a couple weeks. So the 4 day. I'm trying to think. Let me look. Let me look back at the main page. So the 3 day it made 19.3. So the 4 day I'm guessing is going to be over 24 million. So let's go with 24 million. So it made 24 million dollars in its second weekend, right? So from it making 51 in its opening weekend to 24, that's a 60% drop, I believe. I mean, that's not too bad because like look at that worldwide budget. They're probably going to end up crossing $200 million, which for a Final Destination movie is like, I don't know, it's kind of wild. I've never really cared too much for Final Destination, but I mean, good on them for giving the audience what they want. I just particularly don't care because I tapped out after number 3 because I was like, yeah, it's you want to talk about predictable. Final Destination is more predictable than Halloween, Scream, Leprechaun, Jason, Freddy Krueger, even John Carver, hell, even Jigsaw. Those characters I just listed off, I find their franchises more enjoyable than Final Destination. Well, Thanksgiving isn't exactly a franchise yet. I mean, Thanksgiving they are supposed to come out with a sequel, I guess maybe in 2026. Although I think it was supposed to come out this year, but it must have got delayed. So I'm hoping for Thanksgiving too. You can keep Final Destination. I don't give a damn. Give me more Eli Roth and Thanksgiving. Yes, I'll take that over Final Destination any day, but Final Destination Bloodlines is doing quite well for itself. So I can't say nothing against it because the numbers are right there. I don't know what the budget was for Final Destination, but I guess that would be a success for their budget, although I'm not too sure. So let's go to number 4. Thunder flops. I mean, Thunderbolts. So 174 million, blah, 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 182 internationally, and worldwide 357. So you're telling me this movie came out at the beginning of May, right? And Lilo and Stitch has already surpassed Thunderbolts in one weekend with 361 million. That's what Lilo and Stitch has right now, just their opening weekend. And Thunderbolts can't even make 400 million worldwide. It can't even surpass Captain Soy Wilson. I mean, Captain America 4. Are we serious? I mean, you know, I never had an interest in seeing Thunderbolts. I'll pick the Suicide Squad any day over the Thunderbolts. I don't even know who the hell the Thunderbolts are other than Bucky Barnes. But yet somehow they apparently I heard that Bucky Barnes was pretty much sidelined in this movie. Probably the most well-known character of the Thunderbolts, but yet you're going to sideline him for characters that the general audience isn't that well aware of. But yet you have somebody like Bucky Barnes who's been around since phase 1, Good, great. That's not a great plan, Marvel. Because I would think if I'm gonna make a Thunderbolts movie and I'm gonna have Bucky Barnes in it, I think I would want to make him the main focal point of the movie. And then if you want to have the Thunderbolts characters involved, that's fine. But like you could like name it, I don't know. Maybe you don't name it after Bucky Barnes, essentially. You could call it Thunderbolts, but you make it clear that the main focal point is going to be on Bucky Barnes. And if they would have done that, I think this movie would have done slightly better. I honestly do. Because people would be like, oh yeah, I've remembered Bucky Barnes. You know what? And he's going to be the main character of Thunderbolts? Yeah, I think I'll go check it out. But they didn't do that. So they're getting what they deserve. I'm surprised it's made 300 million, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, enough about Thunderflops or Thunderbolts. Next up, we have Sinners, right? So this is a vampire movie, I believe. And like, Jesus Christ, look at that. That's domestically 280 or 258, over 258 million, and it's made 80 million internationally for a worldwide total of 338 million or over that. Depending on what this budget is, sure, it's not making as much as Thunderbolts. This is true, but however, this budget, the Sinners budget, probably wasn't as big as Thunderbolts. So if we look at it like from that technical standpoint, Sinners is actually doing better than Thunderbolts, even though it's made less, but the budget's probably not quite as high. I haven't seen Sinners, so yeah, I believe it is about vampires, if I'm not mistaken, but the domestic audience is very much interested in this movie by looking at these numbers. So, with numbers like this, there could potentially be a sequel. So, I know Ryan Coogler was behind this movie. I mean, he did this movie and he also did Black Panther, and then he did that god awful sequel to Black Panther, which should have never existed. But I never saw that sequel because like I saw Black Panther, and then once Chadwick Boseman, passed away unfortunately, and they decided, well, we're just gonna kill T'Challa off. I said, no thanks, I'm good. Because they easily could have recasted him, but why they didn't recast T'Challa was more for political BS. That's exactly why. So I'm like, I'm good. No thanks. But with Sinners, I mean, eventually I probably will try to seek it out, I'm sure. Um Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. I've heard a lot of good things about this movie. But we'll see. And Michael B. Jordan is in it, so I mean that kind of gives me a little bit of hope that yeah, okay, it could be good because Michael B. Jordan, Michael B. Jordan is he killed it as Killmonger. He did a fantastic job in that movie. So I don't know. We'll kind of just skim through this list here. The last rodeo, I don't know what exactly that is. Friendship, a Minecraft movie, The Accountant 2, Hurry Up Tomorrow, I don't know. Oh, there's Snowflake. Wow, it is somehow still in the top 20. Oh, wow. Anyway, Clown in a Cornfield. That's some sort of horror movie. Oh, Until Dawn. There's that fucking disaster of a video game adaptation, which by the way, it's Until Dawn in name only, as that movie Until Dawn is copying from, let me see, they're copying from way better material, by the way. Happy Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, and then the Happy Death Day movies. And they figured instead of following that game to a T, no, let's just do something else that's been done to death. Let's do something that's already been done already, much better in the past. So there you go. And let's see. That is quite embarrassing because that movie had to. Apparently, that movie is a failure because for it to almost make $50 million, I'm surprised it's even near $50 million. It don't even deserve that, if I'm being honest. So I don't. All these other movies, I'm not sure what they are, but anyway, that we pretty much went over what I really wanted to go over as far as the box office, which was Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible, Final Destination, Thunderbolts, and Sinners. That's pretty much the ideal movies that I kind of wanted to go over real quick. So, like I said, I'm gonna try to have this video out on Wednesday sometime. Hopefully, it'll be Wednesday because I still got to do my AEW Double or Nothing results, which I'm behind on that. I would have been on time for that if I hadn't seen Lilo and Stitch. So I just wanted to get Lilo and Stitch out as quick as I could. So if you want to know my spoiler thoughts on that movie, you can check that video out because I'm not gonna purposely ruin that movie for anybody that hasn't seen the remake because, yeah, there are a lot of things that are the same, but there are some changes. So that's why I don't want to say nothing, right? So that's pretty much all I got for you guys on this video. So, yeah. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support. And if you're new, welcome on in for the first time. I'm glad to have your support and thank you for your time. I am Buck Beak and I'm going to go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.